Hi, it's Kathy from Raven Vintage. Welcome back to my craft room. I'm excited to be here. I miss you guys. We did the 100-day project with the envelopes. We were here every day, and I'm missing chatting with you. So I was taking some time. I had to wait for my windows to be done, so I was taking some extra time to watch some other creators, and I came across a video. It's from 5 years ago, but it's a really great project. We're going to make a folio, and this is what you need: 3 file folders. So I have these are new, and I do believe this is a package from the dollar store, so you can get them fairly cheap. You could use used as well, because we're going to cover them up. Darlene's Creative Studio. I will link her below. I don't know that she's as active on YouTube as she used to be. This video is, like I said, from 5 years ago that I found the idea from. And she did a large Christmas file folder folio tutorial. And she also shows one that she had made previously. She did like Christmas colors, but she also showed the one that she did previously using Edith Holden. She decorated it with Edith Holden book pages. It's something that she had taught before at a workshop, and we've all done folios in 900 different ways, but I thought this one was very straightforward. So I thought that this would be a great one to share with you as a tutorial. So I have 3 file folders. We'll talk about the paper in a second, a scoreboard, and some sort of a cutter. So I'm using this dual We Are Memory Keepers one that's both a cutter and a scoreboard. This is optional, but she used the punch not to make an envelope with her envelope board, but to make some fancy corners on the pockets. So I have this out, but that is optional. You could always use a corner rounder if you like, or just cut freehand. I have ink, glue, a pair of scissors, a scoring tool, and that should be all we need. Now, as for papers, this is from my wallpapers collection. It's called Pink Antiquity, and basically she used 2 colors. She used a dark color and a lighter color for contrast. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think I've selected these 2 out of this Pink Antiquity kit. There's 5 images in all of the wallpapers, and I like the contrast of these 2. So what I did was I printed extra, and I'm going to let you know on the screen, because I don't know just yet how many pages you will need if you're going to follow what I'm doing with some sort of a printable. This is just regular copy printer paper, 8.5 by 11 inch, standard US letter size. So I have printed, it might be too many, it might not be enough, I don't know, but I'll put it on the screen when I'm editing the video once we get through the project, and then I'll know for sure. But I'm starting with, this is a guess, so I printed 5 copies of the dark. That's going to be the larger sections of the folio. And then I have 4 copies, I've got a oops there, I have 4 copies of the lighter color. So we will find out, and I'll put it on the screen now, if that was enough or too much or not enough. We'll see. So these other 3 I'm just going to set aside. Perhaps we could use those for tags or something later to decorate, because of course they coordinate. But we can set our papers aside for now. We're going to make the folio. We'll make the base. And I have ink to ink up later. If you are an ink person, we will do that. A pair of scissors handy, and I'm using art glitter glue in a refillable bottle. And I have my coffee. All right, we're good to go. Let's get started. Okay, so with the first folio, this project is going to be basically 6 by 9. So 6 inches wide by, that's going to be the end result of your folio. Now we are going to do a 1/4 inch spine. So this is all in inches. It's going to be a 1/4 inch spine when we're done. Okay, so with this folio here, now this is going to throw me a bit because her cutter was the opposite way. Basically, on this short side, I'm going to call this the front of the file folder, and I'm going to refer to this tabbed section where it says name. I'm going to call that back. So I'm talking about the front of the file folder. I'm talking about this shorter piece. So I'm going to call that the front. Okay, so when I'm referring to the file folder front, that's what I'm talking about. I'm just looking at my notes that I made. Okay, the first thing we did was she made this 9 inches tall. So let's just use whatever straight edge we have. And I'm just going to make this folio 9 inches tall. Start with that. And of course, we're going to keep every single piece here because we're going to use these for pockets and tags. Okay, so that's step one, is to cut off the bottom of your file folder so that this is 9 inches tall. Now we want to go 6 inches wide. So I am going to, this crease right here, I'm going to put at the 6-inch mark. That. So this side is 6 inches. I'm going to cut this off. So here to here is 6 inches. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is score this so that it's a 1/4 inch. I'm going to guess she used 1/4 inch just to make sure that works. So if I put this edge right up to the edge of my scoreboard here and do a 1/4 inch, I think if you did, which happens to be one of the those scored lines already on your file folder, it looks like they are 1/4 inch apart. So that's going to be our spine. So if I bend this and fold it a little, so we've made a 1/4 inch. Yeah, let's stick with the 1/4 inch for this for now. She talked about, she added in her Edith Holden one, I think she added she sewed in a signature and added paper, writing paper to it. So I think her spine was wider for that one, but let's start with this 1/4 inch spine. I think I'm going to do a few of these because I think this is going to be very fun. Okay, so now that we have this fold that down right there, turn this back over. I'm going to turn this around. So there's our spine. So now I'm going to put that part of the spine, the right side of the spine, at the 6-inch mark. So I'm lining, not this line, but set the second line up to the 6-inch mark, and then I'll cut it there. There we go. So now I know that where I'm making a cut line here, it'll be 6 inches from that side of the spine. Sure I'm on there. Good. Yep. Save that. Okay, so now we have, let me turn this back this way. From here to here, from here to here, we have 6 inches. And then in here, this little bit, we have a 1/4 inch spine. Okay, so you should end up with something that looks like this. You line up your two sides. You have, I don't know, Ruby's having a good old nap. Okay, we can have this 1/4 inch spine and 6 inches and 6 inches. Okay, now we want to cut some circle punches here. Oh, I forgot to say that we need a circle punch. Sorry, I missed that at the beginning. We need a circle punch. Okay, so this is 9 inches, so halfway is 4.5. Make yourself a little mark for your center on that side, and 4.5 on this side. That's your center. And this won't go through, I don't think this will go through both, but I'm going to put teeth marks in first so that I get the same size on both sides. Or I might be able to do it just by the first one. So I'm going to, let me see how big I want this, maybe a little bigger. And for those of you that know me, I have a Sharpie mark on my circle punch so that I can line it up to, go through, line it up to, and I also have it on the plate. I have a Sharpie mark there. Okay, so I've got my grip marks, my teeth marks in there. And now I can just line this up. Like that. Oh, see, I guess you could just do this, right? Doesn't matter. Either way. Okay. So this is the base of your folio. Like this. And then we're going to do we're going to glue something here, and we're going to glue something here. These will fold back to make your folds on your folio. And when this is closed, we will glue this on the side so that we have a pocket on the outside of the folio, a pocket on the front and the back. And then when you open the folio like this, you'll have these fold backs. I don't know if I can demonstrate that correctly, but okay. So this part's done. Let's set that one aside. Now we're going to deal with these. So I have my file folder in front of me. I'm turning it counterclockwise to the left so that the big tab's pointing to the left. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to cut off, I'm going to make this 6 inches wide. So from the center crease there, I'm going to line up this center crease of the file folder at 6 inches, and I'm going to cut this off. Now I'm going to flip this to score. And I want to do a 9-inch for our height. I want to do a score line across the bottom here at 9 inches. See if I get this right. Okay, now turn it back counterclockwise or clockwise, facing the normal way again. And I want, this will be the, you know what, it might be helpful. This is the top. I'm going to turn it this way, and I want to go 9 inches, and I want to score across, which will be the bottom, at 9 inches. Okay. Now let's turn this back so that this is at the top. So we have, this is 6 inches wide now. Do that, 6 and 6. And this is 9 tall from this score line to here. So from right there to there is 9. Okay. We're going to cut right along on just the inside to the right of this score line to this score line. We're just going to, just on the right hand side of it, I'll try to zoom in there. I'm just going to cut right alongside of it, not on it, right beside it, and just meet just right before that score line there. And then you'll see that this will fold up and that will become a pocket. Okay. And then this piece here, we're going to cut off. And we're going to save it. And we can just cut right on the score line now because we want that to be 9 inches. You can do it on here if you want, but this just seems to be easier. Probably should have, so it's straight. Now remember, save your pieces. And then this side here, we're going to score at 6 inches. So take the fold of your file folder up against your bar. Oops, that's a pencil. And we're going to score at 6 inches. And then this piece here is going to fold backward like that. Perfect. We're going to add another pocket in here. So we'll figure that out in a minute, but I think it's going to be best to do the other side first. I'll just grab the cover. So this is going to get glued in like this. So we have a pocket in the front, and then when you open it up, we have a tuck here. And then this will open up and we'll have pocket pocket. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side that we just did. So now I think what she did was, yes, she took her file folder and folded it inside out. So just reverse it. So go like this because we're going the opposite direction now. Give yourself a good crease. Okay. So now we're looking at this. Let me make sure I get this right. and we want to cut this piece at 6 inches. So let's turn it again so that the crease of the file folder is up against, I want 6 in as well. Okay, let's turn let me just make a better crease here. Let's kind of, okay, so the crease of the file folder, we're going to match at the 6-inch line. And we're going to cut, this is the front of the file folder, again, that we're cutting off. So we're just going to cut that right off. That. Then we're going to turn this, I want the tab at the top, like this, but now it's opposite. And we want a score line of 9 inches down here. So let's flip this over. I'm turning it clockwise, so the top is by the bar, or facing the bar. Let me just do this again, top. Okay. And we want a score line of 9 inches right down here. Okay. And we are going to cut this time on this side on the left side of the score line for our pocket, just on the inside of it. There. So that will fold up to become your pocket. And this piece we can cut off. I'm going to use my trimmer this time instead of my scissors. If I can get that lined up nicely. Kind of awkward because the tabs, but as long as I can butt this up here, I should be able to cut right on that line. Yep. Be a little too far off. Let's try it. See. Okay. And then we want to, let's see here, what have we got? We want to do a score line to fold this back like that. So at 6 inches. So I'm going to say it's probably easiest to open this back up, put the edge of your file folder, let's get into score mode here. Put the edge of your file folder again against the bar. And we want a score line at 6 inches this time. So we can fold that back. There we go. Okay, let's turn this back the way it should be, close it up, and then fold this back. So this is the front, that's the top, there's the pocket, close it up, fold this back. So taking our cover, and then these get glued inside. So you have these 2 tuck spots here, and then this also opens up and we'll have pockets in here. So she did a double pocket on the inside. So now let's work on those pockets. Let me just make sure this is going to, yeah, that looks good. Okay. So let's work on pockets now. So what we want on the inside here and here, we want to add a pocket. So let's take 2 pieces that are the same size, and you should have a couple of them. You should have 2 pieces like this. Let's use those as pockets. So let's trim those. I've got this really wonky edge. I'm going to straighten up the edges first, and then I want to do, I think just shy, like 1/8 of an inch shy of 6 inches. I think it's going to fold nicer if we do that. I just want to trim off this little edge here. I want to get a nice edge to start with. And this one as well. Okay. So now let's cut these at, we're just going to go 1/8 of an inch. So 5 7/8 is where I'm going to line up this edge, because I just want this pocket to be 1 inch smaller in width. One of those, and then I'll do the same with this. So again, at 5 7/8. Okay. So these are going to be the additional pockets. I think I might be done with this for now. Okay, so here's where she used the envelope punch board for the pocket corners. You could also just use your corner rounder like this. Oops. And you could round your corners, or you can leave them square. It's up to you. But I'm going to try what she did. So if I open this up flat, I can put this where, oops, upside down. So I'm putting the corner of the pocket right in the center of the punch. Just, it's kind of hard to eyeball, but when you look at your punch on your envelope punch board, there's like this, you can see the metal plate in there. So basically this opening, I'm lining up the corner of my pocket basically in the center of that space. And if I do the same thing on all of them, it should be relatively the same. So just eyeballing it. There isn't a line there. There should be, but there isn't. And then we'll go the opposite side. So you get this kind of cute tabby rounded corner there. And then so that these match, we're going to do the same thing. Eyeball that towards me a little bit. See? So then that will tuck in like this, and the corners will be matching like that. Do this one, then we'll do the other folder. Both sides. So we have that. And then this one, I'm going to open it back up, and same thing. Okay, done with the envelope punch board. We're done. So far so good. Everybody good? Okay, before we glue our pockets, maybe we might want to decorate these pieces before we glue them in. So actually that's a good idea. Let's set these aside. Let's just wait on that. This would be a good time to ink all of your edges. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to do all of my inking. It looks terrible. Let me redo that. Just so that I those were not very good, Kathy. Blind as a bat some days. Okay, so I'm going to ink all of my edges of these, my pockets as well, the folders inside and out, because we're going to cut our papers so that they fit just inside of all of the edges of our file folder, so you can see that nice inked edge. Okay, so I will be right back. Okay, I have my edges inked up, distressed, aged, whatever you want to call it. And let's start decorating with our pretty papers. So I'm going to start with the cover. I'll set these to the side. And we want a large piece for the front, a large piece for the back. We won't need anything on the insides because that is where these will get glued in. So this right here, we do not need to decorate. Also, we'll be putting a piece of paper on the spine on the inside, and on the outside of the spine we'll be adding lace afterward. So right now we're going to cut two pieces. I'm going to use the darker color out of my two for the front and back cover, and I'm going to use my trimmer, my guillotine trimmer, just to get some clean lines. And when you're trimming your paper for your cover, we'll come in and do this part after, but I'm going to trim it so that my paper ends up being just on the inside like that, so I can see the edge of the file folder, just maybe a 1/16 of an inch, something very minimal like that. So when I cut this piece of paper, it doesn't need to be the full 6 by 9. I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch shorter on the length and the width. So I'm using this. So I'm going to do the height first. I really like this part of the wallpaper, so I want to include that. So I want that to be, I think, up in this corner. See where it says Howell and Brothers right here? I would like to include that. So I'm going to make that my top right corner. So I know this needs to be just shy of 9 inches. You can mark it with your pencil if you like, and then trim. That would be a good idea. So let's do that. So I've got it so that my margin of the is showing the file folder all around. So I'm just going to make a pencil mark right there to trim off that edge. Start with that. Save all your pieces. And then just shy of 6 inches wide, I could do the same. Now remember, we're going to put lace around the spine, but same thing, we just want to come just inside. So if I measured that, instead of it being 6 inches, let me turn it this way. I would just go to if you're using the same guillotine cutter as me, I would do 5 7/8. But you see the 6-inch line here? I'm just on the inside of it. So that piece will go perfect. Do that, maybe try this. Do a little pencil line. And let's trim out that circle punch now. Try a piece of paper. There we go. Oh, I missed. Let's see what that looks like first before I trim it. I think I want to come in just a little bit closer. There, I like that. So I can just see a little bit of the file folder there. That's up to you. I like that look, so I think I'll go with that. And you can ink this after or now, or not ink it. It's up to you. I'm just going to do a really light dab. Now, depending on the paper you're using, it should cover up any of the my lighter paper might show some of this, so we'll see. I might have to cover that. We'll see what it looks like. And I'm using art glitter glue in a refillable bottle. So I hope everybody's doing really well and been crafting. And I don't know who's going to be watching this video. I know who was watching the 100 Days of Envelopes. So Mary and Sharon and Kimberly and BC Bev and all of you guys. But I don't know if you are also watching this. But if you are, hello. Made a lot of new friends on the 100-day project, which I did 100 ideas of envelopes. If you haven't seen that, it's a very fun series to follow along. And oh, that's pretty. So pretty. I really like this Howell and Brothers showing there. Quite nice. Okay, so that's the outside cover. We will have lace, so we'll do the back. We'll do the same thing. So I'm going to need a second piece of paper, and then this time I think I'll put the Howell Brothers down here in this corner. In pink antiquity. I will certainly list this kit below, and don't forget, if you're going to grab a few wallpaper kits which you can use time and time and time and time again, like here's a great example. Just with this one kit, I printed this one page 5 times because I don't have I'm not using a 12 by 12 scrapbook pad, which you could also be using for this project. I'm just printing it on cheap copy paper, printer paper, 20 pound. It's just fine for this project. A very good investment, in my opinion. Especially, I forget, someone told me what it works out to US, like $2 a pack, a kit. And excuse me. So if you bought the minimum six kits and use that code to save 60%, it works out to just a couple dollars a kit. And then you have this forever, and you can just print. So it's unlike scrapbook paper. When you buy a pad of paper, you use it once it's gone, which, I mean, I have scrapbook paper too. I do use it, but I just find this much more economical. A $2 investment plus your copy paper, which, you know, I can usually get a ream of paper, 500 sheets on sale for $6.99 or something. Like, it's very inexpensive, right? Very inexpensive. So if you're being frugal with your crafting, printables is a very inexpensive way to get yourself some really pretty paper to craft with. Okay, so that's the front and back. Lovely. Trying to use less glue. Okay, beautiful. Now the insides. What she did was she continued with this darker color on the inside, and then the lighter color on the folds, like that. Now keep in mind, we're going to also do the insides. That one's going to go here. You know what, this will just be a partial piece. So let's do the bigger pieces first and see what we end up with end cuts. And then we'll do our pockets inside too. So let's right now work on, let's take we don't need to decorate the inside of that. So the cover is basically done. We're done. That's all we need to do with that until later when we come on with the lace. So that's done. Let's look at these guys. So we open them up and we'll have these pockets. We'll figure out where to put those, like that and that. So let's do, I'm looking at full sheets right now. Let's do this and this. And I'm going to use I think I'm going to do the lighter color there, and then the dark, light, dark. You do whatever you like, but I think I'm going to use this lighter color. Yep, I'm going to do that. So again, I'm going to cut a piece that is just shy of the 6x9 to fit inside. So we can certainly mark that with a pencil. Let's go from here. This outside edge. There. There. So I'm finding these not to be perfectly squared corners. I'm having to just trim a little bit. Like so minor, minuscule, a little bit off. Just to get that nice little edge I want without it interfering when this folds. Okay, that's good. So don't think you've done anything wrong if you've measured and then you put it on here and it overlaps on the top or the bottom or something. It's because this isn't lining up perfectly square. And that's okay, that happens. It happens a lot. Okay, and these wallpaper patterns, there's really no up or down. Like you can't really go wrong with what direction you're putting them on, unless you're being conscious of like what we did with the cover with the wallpaper sampler, like the maker's mark there. Oops. Beautiful. Isn't that pretty? I think it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. I'm going to use the large pieces first so I can work with my end cuts afterward. Let's take these pockets out. So again, I'm working on this piece right here on the inside. Just doing my larger pieces. And again, I'm just going to, I've got a dud here. I'm just going to line that up to where I want it and then mark it with pencil. And then what did we want to do here? So those are the bigger pieces. And then I want to do the lighter one here on the fold and the darker one behind. I think I'm going to go dark, light, dark. Yeah, dark, light, dark. So this piece here, got 3 left. So I think I'm going to be able to trim this right in half and use one piece here and one piece here. So let's do that. So this is 11. So that would give us 5.5 inches. 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to cut 5.5 inches this way. In half. Like that. This is what I'm looking at here. So this height, and then again, I'm just going to trim it just slightly smaller than the 6 inches. So 5 7/8 wide. This way, just like that. Hang on to those, and then I think this piece will go right here. I think it's just a little bit too wide. Just making a really good use of this paper without trying not to waste too much. Okay, that's going to go there, and then when we put the pockets in here, that's plenty big enough, I think. Yes. Perfect. Okay, so let's glue those down. It's so good to be back in my craft room and crafting it again. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the other one with this piece. Here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trim that. Again, I'm just leaving a nice margin around to show the file folder. And this is covering up, looks like it's covering up just fine. Okay, now let's address those pockets. So I want to do a light one there. So I'm going to see if I have any pieces large enough for that. This leftovers. Is that tall enough? I think so. So I think what I'll do is, I think I'll just, okay, so again, I want the paper to be just shy, just to show those margins. So I'm just going to do a little pencil line here of where I want to cut it widthwise. And then we'll use our envelope punch board again for the top corners. How is that for width? Let's check our width. Good. So I can just see, I want to see the file folder on either side. And then we'll do these top corners with that envelope punch board. So same thing, just line that up in the middle. Or quarter round or whatever you choose to do. And then if I bring that just down a little to show the file folder across the top, that works. Looks like I've got a bit of a notch to cut off there. Yeah, and I can just pull it down just a little bit to show the file folder at the top as well. So ink those edges in the top. You don't need to do the bottom. Ooh, lovely hand there. I'm not going to go right to the bottom because this is a little bit longer than that. That'll certainly do it. I feel like this tool gets used. I have two of them. One that came with the envelope punch board, right? Of course, I don't store it in there. I store it in my tool caddy. And one that came with the scoreboard that I was using earlier. And I feel like this is the tool I use the most in my craft room. So I'll get rid of these little bits there. And then this we can decide. We'll glue one down. I'm just going to do it by eye where I like it. And then I'll do the next one. I'll measure this and do it the same on the other side. So we need to... Now you can leave the bottom open if you want so that whatever you tuck in tucks in behind, which is not a bad idea. Or you can glue across the bottom so what you tuck in stops there. I'm going to glue the bottom, but you are welcome. You can leave that open. So if you have something tall, it can go right to... but I am going to do this. My bottom is a little longer than the paper is longer than the file folder. So I'm just going to glue them both down so there's no flip-flopping. And by eye, let me see, I just want to make sure that that's over far enough so it doesn't interfere with the fold. It should be good. And are you straight? It looks good and straight to me. Happy with that. Well, there's that little pocket. And then this one we can decorate with our leftovers. And I'm going to go back to the dark. If I have anything tall enough. Or wide enough, I should say. Oh, that is just wide enough. That's perfect. Okay. So same thing. I'm going to do a pencil mark to trim the width. Let's see down here maybe. And then I'm going to do the envelope punch board again. And pull that down just a little bit. That's perfect. I like it. Okay, I will zoom through and do the other side, and then we'll move on to next steps. So just repeat this process on the other side. Oh, I'm going to glue this right down to my... Glue that right down to the front. That lined up. It's good. Oh, this is really pretty. Really very pretty. So now this one is the flap up, so we just need to glue the sides now. Here and here. I'm going to do a double wide glue strip with my art glitter glue. And then you can paper clip that if you wish, but I'm pretty confident with this art glitter glue here. Okay, so now we have this pocket and this pocket that stops there. That folds over. We'll decorate the front. So let's do the pockets on the other side, and then, like I said, we'll go on to next steps. Okay, so just as a reminder, I wanted to measure what this height is before I glue that pocket down on the other side. So we ended up with, from the top of the file folder, I'm going to say roughly 2 inches. So when I'm gluing this down, I want to make sure that it's about the same height. So that looks pretty good right there. Okay. Well, if you want to know what you just did, just put a pencil line here so you know where to lay this down after you add your glue. So again, you can glue the bottom if you desire, or leave it open. I'm going to use that line so I know how far down to go. Okay. And then I can glue this flap down. Glue that pocket closed. Okay, so that's the inside. Very good. So now we have a pocket and a pocket. Look at what we have done so far. So I have the cover, I have a folio here, folio here. These will get glued down. This will open up like this. Very nice. So we need to decorate these two. So what colors do we want to do? I want to do the light on this side and then the darker behind. So set that cover aside. And what do I have left for the darker? I still have 2 pieces of paper. So this is 8.5 wide. So 4.25. Is that going to be... This doesn't have to go all the way in because this pocket will close. Let me just fold this in half and see if that's going to be enough just to use 1 piece of paper. Oh, ruby. So I glued that down. I think that's plenty. So let's just cut this right in half down the middle. And then we'll trim the trim it to just under 9 inches. So let's do that to start. So this is 11 tall. I only have 6 on here. So 11 minus 9 is 2. So if I take 2 inches off the bottom, it should be good for height. And I want to keep that. How about this? I do want to keep that. I just think it's really cute. Take 2 inches off, and I'm just going to go a little smaller. No, I want to go a little bigger than 2 inches that I'm taking off to leave me with just, there we go. That should be the right height. And then I'm just going to, this is a little bit tall for this trimmer, but we're going to give her a go. Yeah, works perfect. Okay. So now I have 2 pieces of the dark. One for that side. I'm going to do that. And one for this side. So how is my height? Did I do okay? Could be a little smaller. I'm just going to take a little bit off. I just want to see that file folder a little more. And then we only need to ink 3 sides. And then we'll glue that right there. Okay, oops, sorry, dog treat. Just had to take a break with Ruby. Here you go, babe. Okay, so Ruby, can you go chew somewhere else, please? Okay. This. Okay, I'm gonna wait till you're done chewing because you're gross. Are you done? Are you done? All done. All gone. All gone. Okay. Just took Ruby out, and she had a quick little, we brushed her out a bit, and that dog loses hair so bad. And then she shed something fierce. It's the breed. There's nothing you can do about it. Do not recommend. Anyways, and then she was just having a treat. There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to do the other side. So that worked out well with that size of paper, just to cut that in half, trim off the bottom. That's the perfect size for this part of the folio. I'll do this side. So I was just brushing Ruby outside on the back deck, and it's such a beautiful day. It's June, and I am so thankful. I can't even tell you. I recently retired in September, and this will be my first summer retired. And we're just coming up on the beginning of summer. What is it, June 21st? And this spring, I actually feel like we actually had a spring. Usually when I was working full time, I felt like we just went right from winter to summer. And I never really got to enjoy that time in between where you could have your windows open and it wasn't hot and it wasn't humid, and like just enjoying that nice spring breeze. And I can't tell you how great. I'm sitting in my house yesterday and I was just like, this is so nice, so peaceful. I can't even tell you. I'm just so grateful right now for this stage in my life. So grateful. I'm so glad I made the decision to retire. I have to live within my means a little. I like really cut back on spending, and I've always been a frugal person anyways with thrifting and whatnot. So I can't spoil the grandkids as much, you know, that sort of thing. But here, this goes this way. I definitely am so thankful for this chapter in my life right now. It's peaceful. I'm healing. I love it. I absolutely love it. And soon I'll be sharing with you some journaling, since we are junk journalers and many of us journal. I will be sharing with you some journaling tips that really have helped me through this stage. And it's a very exciting part of your life. At this age, at this stage, I don't know, I'm 55. It's just, I'm really coming into some real joy, and I just can't wait to share with you some things I've learned along the way. Okay, so we started with what, 5? And it looks like I only needed 4 full sheets, and I still have pieces left over. So I'll get rid of that one. And then with these, we started out with 4, and it looks like I only need 3. So I will add that back at the beginning of the video, if those are the right numbers. If I started with 5 and 4 and I ended up only needing 4 and 3, I think that's correct. If not, I will definitely add that at the beginning. So again, we just need to, I'm just going to cut this right down the middle, and then we will trim around this. How wide does it need to be? At the most 3.5. That's too short, so I'm going to do 3.5, and my height is just under 9. So let's start with the height. Let's just get that part done. So do a pencil mark. So again, I'm just leaving a little margin of the file folder inside there. Okay, so yes, I'm excited to tell you more about that journal. I'm going to offer it as a downloadable PDF from my Etsy shop that you can print out and use to write in. You can use it, you can make a junk journal out of it, I'm sure. Okay, so I said 3.5, right? And then I think I may also offer it as a printed item, like a finished item. That's 3.5. There There we go. I'll keep that strip there. So these, oh, what did I do? Did I go the wrong way? Or did I just simply cut it too short? Oh no. Okay, well, if you do it right, you don't need all the sheets. Oh my goodness. So 9. Let me try that again. I cut it the wrong way. Did I? What did I do? I was talking, that's what happened. Okay, so this, I have the height right. Oh, I cut this way for 3.5. That's what I did. So that's the right height. I need to cut this way for 3.5, so I need to turn it this way. Oh, Kathy, okay. Don't make that mistake. I wondered why that fit in there so nicely. Okay, so 3.5. Okay, so if you don't mess up like me, you don't need 4 sheets. You should just need 3. But good thing I had an extra printed. Okay, let's try that again. Yip yapping. Okay. So what I'm going to do is tuck this in behind like that. So I can just trace this with a pencil and then cut that. I did a video a while back about what style of journaling I do, and what style of journals. Oh, I'll link the video. What type of journaler are you? And point form, do you use like a paragraph style? Do you journal every day? And I am more of a list maker, point form. I do not journal every day. I have different journals for different things. Like I have my business ideas, my brainstorming, my goals and dreams in one. And then I have, you know, more personal, like, I don't keep a daily journal of events, like weather, you know, who I saw today, who I talked to today. I don't do that. But I might start. That might be something, it's just something I didn't really ever have time for, or didn't make time for, I should say. But I might start now that I'm retired. I don't know. I'm just having so much fun with my junk journal business here that, like, so much fun hanging out with you guys and showing you, learning things together, showing you things I've learned. This kind of takes up all of my brain space. Get rid of that one. Oh, Ruby, you're so sweet. Okay. Ruby's laying under my desk. I've been putting one of her beds, like her little pillow beds things, under my desk. And I think she really likes that feeling of being under my desk and being right by my feet. And I feel like she feels safe under there or something. I don't know. Cozy. That's pretty. That's really pretty. I really like the colors I chose. That this pink, just, I love it. I love it. The sepia tones. And okay, so speaking of, I can just barely see some of that, this through. And actually, I kind of like it. I think it looks kind of neat that you can see that. You know what we're like, our vintage. And if it bothers me later, I can always cover that up. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's just get the other side done. And then we'll glue our folio portions into the cover, and then we'll put some lace on that spine. So here's this 1/4 inch spine here. So that's what she did. She put something in the middle like that. You could do the opposite color, which I kind of think would look better. Well, I could use that other piece, but I really don't want to. I could Mod Podge it together like this. And you see a split. Okay, since I don't have a piece long enough other than this one, I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to glue this right down to where the spine is. There we go. All right. So before we glue these on, we are going to bend this at those fine creases and just do a little inking. And then that one, do the second one. Just light, nothing crazy. How does that look? Got a little bit of a wrinkle there. Okay. Yeah, it looks like an old worn book. I like that. Okay, I'll be right back because my dog needs me. 1 second. She just wanted another treat. Goodness sakes. Do you do this with your dog? Do you show them your hands go all done? You have to show them that there's nothing in your hands so they believe you. To do that with her sometimes. Okay, now when you glue your pocket in, you want to make sure that you are just on the outside of either side of that crease so that we don't get any interference when we are opening and closing our little folio. So I'm going to, oh, and we haven't glued these pockets down yet. We can do that right now. We could do that too. So these get glued down to there. Do that right now. Good strong pocket. Okay. So when I glue this down, I want to just come inside of that, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so to here. So is your folder going to show? Yes, it is. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to, this will be the pocket here. So I'm going to hold, or the opening will be across the top. So I'm going to hold that side with my thumb so I know what side not to glue. And I'm going to glue the two sides and the height. I'm going to lay this down and make sure it's just on the inside of the crease. 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch. Let's see how our sides, make sure our sides are lined up. Looks good. Make sure it opens and closes. Looks good. There's barely any overhang there at all. Just make sure she still folds. Come in a little bit, I think, here. Or is it down? Good. And across there. That is really pretty. Okay, so that's that side. And now we can glue this side in. It's the crease. We want to be just on the inside of the crease on this side so that we can open and close this without any issues. Make sure your sides are lined up nicely. A little bit of an overhang. Does it open and close? Yes. Got that spine there. Beautiful. That. Okay. So pretty. Okay, so let's put some lace on the spine. I'm not a fan of using this smelly glue, but when you have to, right? And then we'll do this at the same time. Okay. Pretty. And it looks like we could use some more. There we go. Very pretty, very dainty. I think I'll let that dry a minute before I trim off my edges. Now let's just gently back and forth. While that glue's still a little bit wet, shouldn't be a problem. Over there, okay. Oh, and I didn't glue this side down. Let's do that. Like that. Okay, so then these folios, so you've got two beautiful tuck pockets here, and then we have this wonderful folio with pockets on the inside, and then you could do a belly band here. You could add a notebook or notepad. Let's see what some lace would look like on these pockets here and there. I think that would be really pretty, although we have these beautiful edges here. I'm not so sure. Maybe I'll do it across the top, or maybe on the inside. I don't know. We have some options. Okay, so I'm going to, I think that pretty much wraps up the structure of the folio. You're okay, Ruby. And then I think what I'll do is decorate, which you will have seen at the beginning of the video. It finished and decorated. There we go. There. Bottom here. I'll save these, of course. There, that's fabulous. That's a great folio. I love this. Well, thanks again to Darlene's Creative Studio. I think she's from Ontario, where I'm from. Not sure. So you've got these two pockets there, and then you've got all of this glorious storage inside. So I'm going to decorate my folio, and you will see that, like I said at the beginning of the video, the finished product. So thanks for hanging out with me in my craft room. This one was fun. I really liked it. And thanks again, Darlene, for your inspiration. I know the video is 5 years old, but it's still a great project. She said she did this one as a workshop. So I think you most definitely could do this as a workshop project. If you were conducting workshops, I think that's a great little project. Okay, well, thanks for hanging out with me in my craft room, and I'm excited to see what we do next. Stay tuned, and if you have anything you'd like to see me work on, let me know in the comments. And say hi. Say hi in the comments. I miss you guys. I haven't seen you for a while. So take care, and Ruby says hello. Take care. Bye now. Hi. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Ruby.